let's go to NBA Defensive Player of the Year. This is a fun race. You and I just wanted to talk about defense. That was the thing.
Yeah.
I told you that I wanted to talk about OG Anunoby, and we kind of backfilled an idea from that idea, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's just start here. Who has stood out for you defensively in a way that like has made your eyes pop this year in the NBA?
Yeah, if I had to pick a defensive player of the year right now, it'd be Brook Lopez. He's been amazing, especially too coming off of the injury. Like I think there were a lot of people who were wondering, at the end of last year, and especially like he had some moments in the playoffs, but for the most part, I think people were like, are they gonna move on from him? And no, like Brook, and even too, like on top of the defense's offense, he's having probably his best offensive season he's had in Milwaukee. Part of that's with Chris being out, so they've incorporated him more. But yeah, the defense, like he's been the best rim protector in basketball without question for me. I mean, his ability to toggle up what he's doing, playing in a deep drop, playing close to the level, mainly in a deep drop right now. But his timing is incredible. The stuff that he's done has just really thrown guys for loops this year in a way that, like, obviously he's been near defensive player of the year level before. I think he could have credibly won it in 2020, and I think he's going to make a run at it this year too. So for me, he's been the best. I think OG, like you mentioned, like OG has been unreal this year. He's been the best wing defender in basketball without question for me.
I just kind of wanted to talk about OG. I think that OG would be my guy so far. And how much of this is just like me giving a take that like I only like sort of believe in? Probably a little bit. Because like honestly, Brook Lopez has probably been the best defender in the NBA this year. Like if I'm being completely honest, right? Yeah. And if I'm looking at this, if I had to vote for defensive player of the year tomorrow, I guess I would have Brook Lopez at number one. I think that that's objectively the right decision, given the way that he has completely bogged down every single thing for every single team that has played against the Milwaukee Bucks so far. OG Anunoby would be number two for sure for me, though. The way that he has, it used to be, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to OG, but like the way it used to be that I've always thought that he was more of an on-ball guy that you would utilize maybe in specific matchups where like you felt like someone was going to come up and set a screen. So you want OG to get switched on to the ball handler within an action. So we're going to have him defend the primary ball handler that way, or we're going to have him just defend the primary wing a different way. Right. He, to me, has always been a better on-ball defender than he's been a help defender. He's now incorporated the help defense stuff in like a substantial way. He has been all over the place with his arms. He has been all over the place in help. I think that a guy that's actually been really rough defensively this year is Scotty Barnes. I think he has really, really struggled defensively at times this year. And OG has always been there to kind of help clean up messes for him and to help clean up messes for Toronto in general. And this isn't to say he was a bad help defender previously. It's more that I think he's leveled up in a pretty real way. And when he's off the court, you can like really genuinely feel it for Toronto.
Yeah. I think like he's a guy who I mean, part of the reason why he's probably never made an all defense is just because of health. I think he's somebody who should have probably gotten one before, but like last year he took a little bit of a step back. Like he was still very good, one of the best wing defenders in basketball, but he wasn't all defense for me because he just did a lot more on the ball. Because they needed him to, and then that just ended up being not as not the same level of defense. But what he's doing now, like he's making these crazy chaos, hectic rotations, which granted they ask him to do, but like you mentioned, like talking about Kaysen, the way that he closes out and then returns with his arm out to keep things at bay. Like OG's literally covering like 40 feet of ground while also getting a steal once he's like returning and recovering. Like it's crazy shit right now. Like the level of things that he's able to do with his hand-eye coordination is kind of nuts. And it's like we talked a little bit with Jalen Wilson in terms of the way that ball control and just like having control of the court. I think OG is hitting a point now with just as a defender where and he's obviously had it before, but this is like you mentioned, I think this is the peak height of where he's been at defensively. Um, like if there's a ball within like 15 feet of him, it just feels like it's in play for him to get it. Like, and that's without like just completely overhelping, because it doesn't feel like he can overhelp right now because he's so good in recovery and getting back. His angles are really good. Like everything he does is just a joy to watch. Like Toronto's going
Yeah.
through it a little bit right now just because of injuries, but he's been, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, his defense has been just unreal.
Well, and like you can like his feet are so quiet, like in a way, right? Like the way that he closes out is the ideal way that like teams want guys to close out now. It's not like short choppy steps like going out and then he's like jumping to the ball handler. It's that he's gracefully like sliding out and just using his length and then keeping his hips like dropped while still being able to like contain if a guy tries to drive on him. And then like you said, like the way that they've weaponized him as a help defender, and I guess like I said like a minute ago, I mean, it's just been completely and utterly he is like the best defender in the league, and like he's producing as well. Like he is averaging almost 3 steals per game. His hand strength is absolutely ridiculous. I think that goes like way underrated. He's switchable across like a ton of different positions, obviously, like we know that, but like it feels this is like his masterpiece season defensively. Like I look, we've seen 15 game stretches, I guess, from defenders before like this, right? But like to me, he is a better defender at his ceiling than like Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges gets a lot of justified hype because of his ability to guard perimeter players specifically. Like he can guard guards at an exceptionally high level and probably a little bit better than OG, but I think he struggles to move up the lineup a little bit. And he struggles a bit with bigger wings. And to me, OG can deal with guards maybe at like a little bit lesser of a level than Mikal can, because Mikal is just a freak show on that side of it because of just how smooth his feet are. But like OG can deal with guards, but he is maybe the best like big wing defender in the NBA. And on top of it, can actually slide down onto centers. Like he is to me the most versatile defender in the NBA on the ball. Certainly, I don't know. Like I still struggle to go past Draymond Green as like the best defender in the NBA. Like when he's on the court, because I mean, you just look at the way that Golden State completely falls off a cliff when he's off the court right now defensively. But I mean, OG on the ball there is nothing like him right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think one of the other things too, like we've seen again, like moments of him really being impactful as a rim protector, but I think this is the first season where it's really been like fully present, like that he is a true help side guy. Like some of his blocks are coming more from what he's doing, just straight up blocking jump shots because he's capable of doing that. But yeah, he just continues to be an absolute joy to watch play defense.
He is averaging almost 4 steals plus blocks per game.
Pretty good.
He is. We have not seen anything like OG in a while defensively, I don't think. Is there anyone else you want to point out here? I mentioned Draymond Green. I mean, without Dre on the court, the Warriors just completely fall off a cliff defensively. And so much of what he does is like so intrinsic in terms of communication, in terms of like getting guys into the right spots. He's still a good rim protector. He's still switchable defensively. Like I would unequivocally have him on an all defense team right now.
Yeah. I'm sure I just want to I'll throw out a couple names really quick. Obviously Giannis been fantastic to start the year, part of why the Bucks have the number 1 defense alongside Brook. But a couple guys who I wouldn't say I didn't expect, but like guys who I think maybe aren't getting as much love, like Nick Claxton's defense has been awesome this year. Like I think he's shown a lot more as a rim protector that has been there, but it's consistent now. He's a lot more functionally strong on the ball. He still he got absolutely bodied by Domantas Sabonis tonight. But overall, like I have been incredibly impressed with him as, becoming an even more refined perimeter defender. Alongside him, Kevin Durant's defense has been incredible. Like straight up, he's always had the ability to be a quality defender. And I think he's I don't think he was as good as he got made out to be in Golden State at times, but in Brooklyn right now, like over this last probably 10 games, he's been fantastic. The game when they lost to Dallas on the free throw miss, um, his fourth quarter defense was some of the best defense I've seen this year. Like what he's doing as a help side rim protector, just in help in general, even on the ball, I think he's been really good. Like I would have Kevin Durant on an all defense team this year. He's been that good for me.
I don't think I would quite get that. Maybe I would.
I'm there. He's been dope.
It depends. Like, do I need to put Mikal Bridges at a
Well, yeah,
forward spot? Like,
Mikal would obviously be
probably.
there too. I think if I'm just doing 10 position lists, he would be on it.
The guy that's like really stood out to me, I think there's like a real case that Paul George is back to like
Paul George has been awesome defensively to start the year. Yeah,
like when he finished third in MVP for Oklahoma City, like he's very close to being back to that level, like as an overall player. And his defense, just in terms of being disruptive, it like the mesh point of screens, his on-ball defense, he's very, very effective help defender. He's always there rotationally. The Clippers have the second best defense in the league, basically on the back of him and Ivica Zubac. Those two have been awesome defensively this year. I would say George has stood out a little bit more to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Than Zubac. I would say Jared Allen has been very good defensively again this year.
Mhm.
Just straight up, like he's covering for those guards at a really high level. I think Mitchell has been better defensively, nowhere near this conversation, but like just in terms of like assessing Jared Allen's impact, like I think that Jarrett has been really, really good. Maybe even a level above Evan Mobley. I kind of thought that Evan might take that step above, but to me, Jarrett has been more the linchpin of their defense. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because not even that I think Evan's been bad. Like Evan's still been very good
No,
defensively
certainly
this year,
not.
but
Yeah.
I don't think it's been quite at the same level as where he was at last year. I think part of that is, just being a sophomore player. Not that he's dipping down or getting bored with basketball, but I think he's being asked to do a little bit more offensively. They're doing things slightly different defensively this year, so I think it's still just kind of ramping back up. But he's still been really good. But yeah, I would agree that Jared's been a little bit better this year.
Yeah, I'm like kind of trying to run through like some of the top defenses. Like DeJounte would definitely have a spot on the guard team for me. He's been very good defensively. The Hawks have a top 6 defense right now, in large part because of him. Clint Capella has been very good defensively throughout the course of the year as well. I would say Clint is probably the bigger linchpin, but if I think it's harder to find spots for centers because it's just been traditionally proven, right?
Yeah. It would be hard to fit him on again because like where are you putting him? But Justice Winslow's been amazing this year.
Yeah.
By virtue of just actually being able to play, I think that's really helped him. But he's been a large reason for why Portland is as good as they are defensively. Even like again, I don't think he would make all defense for me, but Jeremy Grant has been like this is the best version of Jeremy Grant we've seen in the NBA. Like I wrote about this last week. Like he's put together like the blend of shot making and secondary stuff alongside his drives and attacking off shooting that I think has been there the last couple of years. But now it's like to the level where it feels right for where he's at. And I think he's found like another level within that in terms of like, not having to do like being able to play off of Dame and play off Simons and play in that system. I think he's really looked good. But the defense for me has been really impressive from him. Like I feel like this system is perfect for him. Like in terms of like, they're not asking him to like, okay. Cause like in Denver, they're like, okay, go get that guy because we need you to do that. He's never really been like I'm just the go lock down somebody on the perimeter type. Like it's his ranginess that really stands out. And I think in this, on this system where I think they're still playing second most zone in the league. He's been fantastic in that. And just being really disruptive. Like again, like probably not quite at all defense, but he's been very good. And I think finally is like where his reputation's been at defensively at times.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird because like in Denver, he was obviously terrific defensively. And then in Detroit, as the offense ramped up, it felt like he took a bit of a step back defensively.
Yeah.
And then now he's kind of, this is probably the best mesh of Jeremy Grant that I have seen in the NBA so far on both ends. The other guy I want to bring up, he started the season not very good, and I don't know if I could get him on like a all defense team right now, but by the end of the year, if Joel Embiid keeps playing the way he has played over the course of the last like 6 games, he's going to be right there. I mean, he looks back to being the defensive rim protector monster that he has been for Philadelphia for a couple of years now.
Yeah, this the last stretch where I think over the last like 7 or 8 games, I think pretty much since Harden has been out, and that's not saying it's because Harden is out.
Yeah.
It's definitely part of it, just because they have better defenders on court. But like I think they're the second best defense in the league over that span. And yeah, like you mentioned, I think it's moments where like Joel's really good at conserving his energy because he has to. But that fourth quarter against Utah was one of the best rim protection games I've ever seen from him. Like
Unbelievable.
he was so good playing in space. He was incredible playing 2-on-1s. And then just everything around the rim got blown up. And that, I mean, just that game overall, like part of it, like you do have to take with a grain of salt because Utah didn't really play a true 5. Like they played Walker Kessler a little bit, but he got into foul trouble and just had nothing for Joel. And it was mostly Kelly Olynyk, who like he's more of a tweener, but like, yeah. So like not trying to doubt, like the dude almost had a 60-point quadruple double. Like it was just that was an unreal game, man.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there anyone else you want to bring up real quick? Like Lou Dort has had moments, I think, as an on-ball defender, but
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not trying to be unfair. I had somebody last pod we did. Somebody came at me because I did not. I like said the thing about like I didn't agree with Luka that Lou Dort's a top 3 defender in the league. He's not. Like you mentioned, I still think that screen navigation is a problem for him. Like a lot of OKC's defense being as good as it is they play hard as hell, and they have just a lot of plus defenders. Like I actually think I don't think this is a hot take. Like Poku's probably been their best defender. Like his rim protection is legitimately very good. Like
I think I would say he is their most
impactful
defender.
Might be the best way to put it. Yeah.
I don't even know that. Yeah, like just because like of the position he plays.
Yeah.
I don't think I would say he's been their best defender.
Was probably a stretch, but like they're like they just have a lot of guys who are bought into what they're doing, and I think that is more indicative of what their defense is than one guy being awesome. Like Lou is very good on the ball, but I still like again. There's just a lot of off-ball laughs with him, and I don't think he's a very good screen navigator, which hurts him.